There is a smell that comes off a desperate man. You cannot see it, but you can feel it. It is the scent of a creature that is begging to be eaten. You walk into a room and you see him immediately. He is the one talking the loudest. He is the one laughing a little too hard at the boss's bad jokes. He is the one checking to see if everyone is watching him, his eyes darting around like a nervous prey animal scanning for predators. He thinks he is projecting confidence. He thinks that by taking up space, by making noise, by broadcasting his achievements, he is establishing dominance. But he is wrong. To the trained eye, to the Machiavellian eye, he is not a king. He is a court jester. He is dancing. He is performing. And he is doing it all for a crumb of validation. The world has lied to you about what confidence actually is. You have been told to fake it till you make it. You have been told to puff out your chest, to speak up, to be assertive. But this advice is dangerous because it focuses on the performance, not the source. When you perform confidence, you are inherently admitting that you do not have it. A lion does not act like a lion. It simply is a lion. The moment you try to convince me that you are powerful, you have proven that you are not. Today, we are going to surgically remove the need for performance from your psyche. We are going to look at the single most dangerous trait a human being can possess. It is a trait that terrified Niccolò Machiavelli's rivals. It is a trait that makes you invisible to manipulation and magnetic to power. It is not aggression. It is not arrogance. It is radical detachment. But before we can build this armor, we have to look at the wound. We have to look at why you are currently exhausted. And you are exhausted, aren't you? Think about your last social interaction. Think about the meeting at work, or the date, or the family gathering. How much of your energy was spent monitoring the reactions of others? You possess a mental calculator that is running 24 hours a day. Did they like that? Was I funny enough? Did I sound smart? Why is he looking at me like that? Did I offend her? This is the trap of the performer. You are living your life on a stage, but you are not the director. You are the actor, and everyone else is the critic. You have handed the script of your life to strangers and asked them to grade your performance. Machiavelli understood the court. The court of the Renaissance was a snake pit. One wrong word, one wrong look, and you weren't just fired, you were exiled, tortured, or killed. In that environment, Machiavelli observed two types of men. The first type was the sycophant. This man survived by pleasing. He was a chameleon. He agreed with the strongest person in the room. If the prince frowned, the sycophant frowned. If the prince laughed, the sycophant laughed. He had no soul of his own. He was merely a reflection of power. He was safe, perhaps, for a while. But he was never respected. He was a tool to be used and discarded. The second type was the sovereign. This man was different. He participated in the court, but he was not of the court. When he spoke the truth, even if it was uncomfortable. When he was silent, his silence was heavy. He did not beg for the prince's favor. He made himself useful, and then he stepped back. He did not need the validation of the crowd to know his worth. The sycophant is exhausted because he is constantly shape-shifting. The sovereign is energized because he is solid. The reason you feel weak is that you are acting like the sycophant. You believe that your survival depends on the approval of others. This is a biological relic. 10,000 years ago, if the tribe rejected you, you died in the cold. Your brain is still wired for the Paleolithic era. It screams, "Please like me, or I will die." But you are not in the wilderness. You are in the modern world, and in the modern world, the dynamic has flipped. The person who needs the least is the person who leads. This is the law of need in any relationship. The person who needs the other less holds the power. When you try to impress someone, you are signaling need. You are saying, "I need your high opinion of me to feel good about myself." You are handing them a leash and putting the collar around your own neck. And human nature is dark, my friend. When you hand someone a leash, their instinct is not to pet you. Their instinct is to pull. They will start to test you. They will give you a backhanded compliment just to watch you squirm. They will withdraw attention just to watch you chase them. They will disrespect you just to see if you will defend yourself, or if you will try to laugh it off to keep the peace. And every time you dance for them, every time you explain yourself, every time you try harder, you lose a piece of your soul. You become a shell. The dangerous trait we are talking about today, this radical detachment, is the refusal to play this game. It is the ability to walk into a room and be perfectly okay with being misunderstood. It is the ability to be disliked and not feel a spike of cortisol. It is the ability to look at the social hierarchy, shrug, and go about your business. This terrifies people. Why? Because society functions on control. Your boss controls you with the threat of firing. Your partner might control you with the threat of withdrawing affection. The media controls you with the threat of social ostracization. They all rely on you caring. They rely on your fear. When you stop caring, not in a depressed way, but in a strategic, stoic way, their weapons stop working. You become ungovernable. You become a glitch in the matrix. Imagine a man who cannot be shamed. Imagine a man who cannot be guilt-tripped. Imagine a man who does not need to be told he is a good boy. That man is dangerous. That man can do anything. But how do you become him? You cannot just decide to stop caring. That is a lie. You cannot just turn off your emotions. That is repression, and repression leads to explosion. No, you must build a new psychological architecture. You must replace the performer with the observer. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." The performer shows everything. He wears his heart on his sleeve, his insecurities on his forehead, and his desires in his eyes. He is transparent, and because he is transparent, he is easily broken. The observer is opaque. He is a dark water. You throw a stone into him, an insult, a compliment, a threat, and it sinks without a sound. You don't know if he is angry. You don't know if he is pleased. You only see the reflection of your own behavior staring back at you. This is the state of amused mastery. It is the attitude of a parent watching a toddler throw a tantrum. You don't hate the toddler. You aren't afraid of the toddler. You certainly don't need the toddler's approval. You just watch, slightly amused, completely safe in your own authority. In the next section, we are going to dissect the specific technique that the Renaissance courtiers used to project this effortless power. They had a word for it, a word that has been lost to the modern age, but is the key to unlocking true, terrifying confidence. It is the art of doing the difficult thing and making it look like you aren't even trying. It is the art of Sprezzatura, and once you master it, you will never have to raise your voice again. In the year 1528, a friend of Machiavelli named Baldassare Castiglione published a book called The Book of the Courtier. It was the ultimate guide to surviving the viper's nest of the Italian elite, and in it, he coined a word that defines the essence of dangerous confidence: Sprezzatura. What is Sprezzatura? It is often translated as nonchalance, but that is too weak. It is studied carelessness. It is the art of concealing all art. It is the ability to perform a difficult action, whether it's negotiating $1 million deal, fighting a duel, or delivering a complex argument, and making it look like it cost you absolutely zero effort. Castiglione wrote, "Practice in all things a certain sprezzatura, so as to conceal all art and make whatever is done or said appear to be without effort and almost without any thought about it." Why is this powerful, and why is it dangerous? Think about the man who is trying too hard. You see the sweat on his brow. You hear the strain in his voice. He is telling you, "Look at me. Look how hard I am working for you." He thinks this earns him respect. It does not. It earns him pity. It reveals that he is operating at his maximum capacity. If he is sweating this much just to hold a conversation, you know he has nothing left in the tank. He is maxed out. He is weak. Now picture the master of Sprezzatura. He delivers the same result, but he does it with a relaxed posture. He speaks slowly. He doesn't rush. He makes a brilliant point and then leans back as if it just occurred to him. This triggers a primal fear in the observer. The human brain calculates power dynamics instantly. When we see someone exert zero effort and get a massive result, our brain asks a terrifying question. If this is what he can do when he isn't even trying, what is he capable of if he actually decided to destroy me? Sprezzatura implies hidden reserves. It implies that what we are seeing is just the tip of the iceberg, and in the world of power, the unseen is always more terrifying than the seen. So how do you apply this? How do you stop being the sweaty try-hard and become the master of Sprezzatura? First, never complain about the difficulty. The weak man loves to talk about how hard he works. I was up until 4 a.m. working on this. I am so stressed. This project is killing me. He wants sympathy. He wants a gold star for suffering. The Machiavellian never reveals the labor. You do the work in the dark. You sweat in private. You bleed in silence. But when you present the work to the world, you present it clean. You hand over the finished product as if it's simply materialized. When you complain, you are showing your limits. When you remain silent about the struggle, you appear limitless. Second, slow down your physical movements. Anxiety is fast, fear is fast. The prey animal moves quickly because it is afraid of being eaten. The predator moves slowly because it knows it is the one who eats. Watch the most powerful person in any room. They blink slower, they turn their head slower, they do not fidget. Fidgeting is leakage. It is your nervous energy leaking out of your body because you cannot contain it. To practice Sprezzatura is to master your own nervous system. Even if your heart is pounding, your hands must be still. Even if your mind is racing, your speech must be measured. You are building a facade of total control, and eventually the facade becomes the reality. As the Stoics taught, the mind follows the body. If you force your body to be still, your mind will eventually calm down. Third, underreact to everything. The amateur overreacts. Good news, he screams with joy. Bad news, he collapses in despair. An insult, he explodes in rage. He is a leaf in the wind, blown around by external events. The master underreacts. Someone brings you a crisis. The system is down. We're losing money, okay, let's look at the options. Someone insults you, you're arrogant and selfish. That is an interesting perspective. By underreacting, you are signaling that your internal reality is stronger than the external reality. You are signaling that you have seen worse. You are signaling that you are bigger than the problem. This creates a gravitational pull. People are naturally drawn to stability. In a chaotic world, the person who doesn't panic becomes the leader by default. When the building is on fire, nobody follows the guy screaming and running in circles. They follow the guy who is walking calmly toward the exit. But there is a darker side to this. Sprezzatura is not just about looking cool. It is a weapon of psychological warfare. When you practice studied carelessness, you make your enemies paranoid. They cannot read you. If you are trying hard, they know what you want. You want the deal, you want the girl, you want the promotion. Because they know what you want, they can manipulate you. They can dangle the carrot and make you dance. But if you act like you don't care, if you treat the deal, the girl, and the promotion with a polite indifference, they lose their leverage. Does he want this? I can't tell. Is he bluffing, or does he actually not need us? Doubt creeps into their minds, and in a negotiation, the side with the most doubt loses. Machiavelli knew that mystery is the soul of power. By removing the appearance of effort, you remove the handles that people use to grab you. You become smooth. You become slippery. But this indifference cannot be fake. You cannot just act like you don't care while secretly you are panicking. People can smell the fake. The micro-expressions will give you away. The tone of your voice will crack. To truly possess Sprezzatura, you must cultivate the ability to actually, genuinely, be willing to walk away. You must reach a point of radical detachment. This brings us to the core of the philosophy. The ability to look at a desire, something you really, really want, and kill it right in front of your own eyes, because only when you are willing to kill your desire do you gain the power to attain it. This is the paradox of detachment. And in the next section, we are going to learn how to sever the tether that binds you to other people's validation. We are going to learn the art of the walking away. Let's talk about the tether. Imagine there is an invisible rope attached to your chest. The other end of that rope is held by the people around you, your boss, your partner, your friends, society. When they pull, you move. When they slacken the line, you relax. You are tethered to their approval, their mood, and their perception of you. Most men live their entire lives on this leash. They think they are free, but they are only as free as the length of the rope allows. If the boss frowns, your stomach drops. If the girl doesn't text back, your day is ruined. If someone disrespects you, you spiral into anger. You are a puppet, and your emotions are the strings. Radical detachment is the act of taking a knife and cutting the rope. It is the realization that your internal stability must not depend on external variables. This is the core of Machiavellian strength. Machiavelli wrote, "A wise prince should rely on what is in his own control, not on what is in the control of others." What is in the control of others? Their opinion of you, their affection, their loyalty, all of these can change in a second. If you build your house on that foundation, you are building on sand. What is in your control? Your judgment, your reaction, your will. That is rock. The most dangerous negotiation tactic in the world is not a clever phrase. It is not a psychological trick. It is the genuine ability to walk away from the table and never look back. Think about a time you were desperate for something. Maybe it was a job. You walked into the interview and you needed it. You smelled of desperation. You agreed to everything. You laughed too hard, and you probably didn't get it. Or if you did, they offered you a low salary because they knew they had you. Now think about a time you didn't care. Maybe you already had a job. You walked in relaxed. You asked them tough questions. You leaned back. You were willing to leave. And what happened? They chased you. They offered you more. Why? Because willingness to walk away signals value. Scarcity creates value. Gold is valuable because it is rare. If you are always available, always eager, always trying to please, you are common. You are sand. But if you are willing to withdraw your presence, you become gold. But here is the hard truth. You cannot fake this. You have to actually be willing to lose. You have to look at the relationship and say, I want this, but I do not need it to survive. You have to look at the deal and say, this would be nice, but I will be fine without it. This is emotional autonomy. It is the state of being a self-contained ecosystem. Most people are emotional parasites. They need to feed on the energy of others to feel okay. They need the compliment to feel pretty. They need the respect to feel strong. The Machiavellian sovereign feeds himself. He validates himself. So, how do you build this? You practice the negative visualization. The Stoics called it premeditatio malorum. Before you walk into a high-stakes situation, imagine the worst-case scenario. Imagine you get fired. Imagine she leaves you. Imagine everyone laughs at you. Now, sit with that feeling. Accept it. Realize that you would not die. Realize that the sun would still rise. Realize that you are strong enough to endure it. Once you have accepted the worst outcome, you are free. You have nothing to lose. And a man with nothing to lose is the most dangerous man in the room because he cannot be threatened. When you possess radical detachment, you shift the dynamic of every room you enter. You move from, I hope they like me, to, I wonder if they are worth my time. This is a subtle shift, but it changes your eyes. It changes your voice. You stop auditioning, you start auditioning them. Is this company worthy of my talent? Is this person worthy of my loyalty? Is this argument worthy of my energy? Suddenly, you are the judge, you are the prize. But be warned, this detachment upsets people, especially the people who are used to controlling you. When you stop reacting to their guilt trips, they will call you cold. When you stop begging for their validation, they will call you arrogant. When you stop playing their games, they will call you difficult. Let them. These are the death rattles of their control over you. They are trying to hook the tether back into your chest. Do not let them. Stand in the center of the storm and do not move. Let them scream. Let them cry. Let them accuse. You are the mountain. The wind blows, but the mountain does not bow to the wind. This leads us to the most practical application of this philosophy. How do you use this detachment in conversation? How do you use silence not just as a defense, but as a weapon? Most people are terrified of silence. They rush to fill it with nervous chatter. They give away their power with every word they speak. The master of detachment does the opposite. He embraces the void. He weaponizes the awkward pause. In the next section, we will discuss weaponized silence and the biological dominance of the predator stare. We will learn how to say nothing and yet scream power. Silence is not empty. Silence is heavy. Have you ever been in a conversation where the other person just stopped talking and looked at you? Really looked at you? What happens to your body? Your heart rate spikes, your brain panics. You feel a sudden, overwhelming urge to speak, to explain, to fill the gap. You start babbling. You reveal things you didn't mean to reveal. You apologize for things you didn't do. This is the vacuum principle. Nature abhors a vacuum. When a space is created, something rushes in to fill it. In social dynamics, silence is the vacuum, and usually the weaker person rushes to fill it with their own submission. The truly confident man, the Machiavellian sovereign, is the creator of the vacuum. He does not fear the silence. He rests in it, he uses it. When you ask a question and get a half answer, do not ask a follow-up. Do not nod encouragingly. Just wait. Look them in the eye and wait 3 seconds, 4 seconds. In that silence, the other person will crumble. They will assume you are judging them. They will assume their answer wasn't good enough. So they will keep talking. They will bid against themselves. They will give you the truth they were trying to hide. This is weaponized silence. It is the ultimate tool of information asymmetry. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that one who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived." In this context, the deception is your silence. You are deceiving them into thinking you know more than you do. You are deceiving them into thinking you are judging them. And in their attempt to win your approval, they hand you the keys to their mind. But silence requires a frame. You cannot just be quiet and look at the floor. That looks submissive. That looks shy. You must combine silence with the predator's stare. This is biology, purely and simple. In the animal kingdom, eye contact is a threat assessment. The animal that looks away first is the submissive one. The animal that holds the gaze is the dominant one. Now, I am not telling you to creepily stare people down without blinking. That is psychopathic. I am telling you to hold the gaze just a fraction of a second longer than feels comfortable. When you finish a sentence, hold the eyes. When they are speaking, do not nod like a bobblehead. Keep your head still and watch their pupils. This project's amused mastery. Amused mastery is the internal state of thinking. I see you. I understand you. You cannot hurt me. It is not an angry stare. An angry stare shows you are threatened. It shows you are emotional. The predator stare is neutral. It is the look of a scientist examining a bug under a microscope. You are curious, but you are not emotionally involved. When someone tries to insult you or disrespect you, this stare is your shield and your sword. The old you would defend yourself. No, I didn't mean that. Why are you being mean? The detached you does nothing. They insult you. You stop what you are doing. You turn your body to face them fully. You look them in the eyes and you say nothing. You let their insult hang in the air. You let it echo. In that silence they hear how stupid they sound. They see that their arrow hit a steel wall and fell to the ground. They start to feel foolish. They might even stutter or look away. Then, after the silence has done its work, you go back to what you were doing as if they never spoke. You have just treated them like a ghost. You have denied them existence. This is far more painful than any comeback you could have thought of. By refusing to react, you have proven that they are beneath your notice. A lion does not roar at a mosquito. It ignores it. This level of control gives you information asymmetry. Because you are silent, you are listening. Because they are filling the void, they are revealing. You learn their insecurities. You learn their motivations. You learn who they are trying to impress. You become a vault. People love to talk to listeners. They will tell you their secrets because you make them feel heard. But really, you are just gathering intelligence. You know everything about them. They know nothing about you. This is the position of power. In a negotiation, the one with the most information wins. In a war, the one with the best intelligence wins. Stop giving away your intelligence for free. Stop broadcasting your thoughts, your plans, and your feelings. Hoard them. Keep them behind the wall of silence. But be warned. When you adopt this behavior, when you stop performing, when you detach from approval, when you weaponize silence, you change. You stop being one of the guys, you stop being nice. You become something else, something harder, something more solitary. Society does not like men who cannot be read. They will try to crack you. They will try to provoke you just to see if there is still a human underneath the armor. You must be prepared for the isolation that comes with sovereignty, because the view from the top of the mountain is beautiful, but it is cold, and there is no room for the weak. In the final section, we will discuss the cost of this transformation. We will discuss the sovereign mind and why you must be willing to become ungovernable if you ever want to be truly free. We have stripped away the performance. We have cut the tether of validation. We have embraced the silence. Now we arrive at the final truth, the truth that Machiavelli whispered to the prince, but that modern society screams for you to forget. Sovereignty is lonely. When you become truly confident, not the loud, fake confidence of the insecure, but the deep, cold confidence of the detached, you become ungovernable. You cannot be manipulated by shame because you judge yourself. You cannot be controlled by fear because you have accepted the worst-case scenario. You cannot be bought with flattery because you do not need their praise. This makes you dangerous to the system. The system, whether it is your corporate structure, your social circle, or the media, is designed to manage sheep. It relies on the herd instinct. It relies on your desperate need to fit in. When you stop bleeding that need, you step out of the herd, and the herd hates the one who leaves. They will say you have changed. You used to be so fun. Translation: you used to be easy to control. You're so distant now. Translation: I can no longer trigger you emotionally. You think you're better than us. Translation: your growth shines a light on my stagnation, and it hurts. This is the cost of confidence. You will lose friends. You will lose the comfort of the groupthink. You will feel the chill of isolation. Most men feel this chill, and they run back to the fire. They apologize. They shrink themselves back down so they can fit into the box the world has made for them. They choose warmth over power. Do not be that man. Embrace the cold. The cold is where the mind sharpens. The cold is where you find out who you actually are. Machiavelli was exiled. He was cast out of the city he loved. He sat in his farmhouse, alone, disgraced. And in that silence, in that terrible isolation, he wrote the words that would change history. He found his sovereignty in the void. You must become the sovereign of your own mind. This means you are the supreme court of your reality. If someone calls you a failure, you do not look to them for truth. You look inward. Did I fail by my standards? If yes, you fix it. If no, their words are just wind. If someone calls you great, you do not let it inflate your ego. You look inward. Did I actually execute perfectly? You stop outsourcing your self-esteem. This is the ultimate freedom. It is the freedom of the man who can walk away from anything. The man who can walk away from a bad job because he has built the skills to survive anywhere. The man who can walk away from a toxic relationship because he is not afraid to be alone. The man who can walk away from an insult because he knows his own worth. This trait, this radical detachment, is the most dangerous weapon you can carry. It is a shield that breaks swords. It is a silence that screams. It transforms you from a prey animal, scanning the horizon for approval, into a predator, moving through the world with purpose. But you have to make a choice right now. You can click off this video and go back to the performance. You can go back to laughing too loud, trying too hard, and hoping they pick you. You can stay warm in the herd. Or you can decide to be dangerous. You can decide to kill the part of you that begs. You can decide to let the silence hang. You can decide that from this moment forward, you do not need anything from anyone. You prefer it. Yes, but you do not need it. When you truly internalize this, you will feel a weight lift off your shoulders. The weight of other people's expectations, it will drop to the floor, and you will stand up straighter. You will breathe deeper. You will look the world in the eye, and for the first time, you will not blink. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But I tell you this, it is better to be free than to be either." And true freedom is the ability to look at the king, look at the crowd, look at the prize, and simply not care. That is power. That is the dangerous trait. And now, it is yours.